Hello, gorgeous people. I'm just going to do my double and triple check-in that we are live. So I'm doing it today via Zoom because I want to be able to share my screen with you, which means that I'm not going to be able to read the comments as they come through. But what I do intend to do is give a little space at the end of this where I will quickly jump into Facebook on my phone, and then I'll go in and have a look if there's any comments, specifically any questions. Anything that I do miss as we go through this, I will come back to later on. So let me just check that we are good and we are all live. Let's see. Let's go into the group. Okay, it is saying that I am live now and I can see myself. So I'm going to take that as a yes. I'm just going to see there is one comment. Brittany, wonderful. Thank you very much. All I need is confirmation from one person that I am live. That's good, because one of my biggest fears is to maneuver through an entire live stream like this and there was like no sound, or it wasn't connected, or I'm just like literally talking to myself. So as I say, I won't be addressing your comments as we move through this, but do make comments and do ask questions, because I will go in at the end of this. So before I close this, answer any questions that I'm able to see easily. Those that I am not, I will definitely come back to. As you have probably seen within the group, there are specific questions people are asking that require a little bit more than just, like a quick comment. So I will create a separate thread for those. I've done one around digestion, and there was one that Anne within the group was asking. And that's really just kind of opening conversations. You are all very welcome to contribute to those conversations and also seek further clarity for yourself. And if you do have a specific human design or gene keys question that is not coming up, that I'm not addressing within this week, like this is within reason, because this week the intention is to be very specific for your business, to be very business focused, and how we can use human design to support us, including the little bit that I'm going to do. This will come in tomorrow's live, which is about your specific relationship with money, because we all want to learn that, because we all desire on a deep level the resources that will give us what we believe the permission, the resources to live our truest expression. But we all know there's a lot of nuances within this. There's a lot of, like kind of deep dive-ins that we need to do, because money is really the byproduct of when you choose to live your fullest expression. And often the resistance to us receiving the full resources that we know is in the potential field for us is actually more of a fear of that fullest expression. But we're going to be diving into that tomorrow. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow. What are we going to talk about today? So today is all about selling using human design. So again, we're bringing it in specific business focus, because when you can learn and integrate human design in your life and in your business, it's gonna help open up yourself to receive money. Because what we're always looking for, like always, is to be the point of attraction for our fractal families. That is like our purpose. That is the point of everything. It ties so well into my life's work, which is 44, which is all around teamwork. The city of that is all around synergy. It really is about together is better. And we're going to explore that, what that really means in energetic terms today. But that's essentially what we're looking for. All of our manifestations, all of our desires, like the physical manifestations, the physical things that we desire, including money, that supports us to live the life that we want, comes through other people. So our work is actually to be very intentional with the investment of our energy and to ensure that we are putting ourselves in the correct place with the correct people at the correct time. So we are the point of attraction for what I call our fractal family, which is our soul family, which are those people that we've come to play with on a soul level. We have two contracts, like fundamental soul contracts. One is to give, one is to receive. So the work, if you will, is to learn energetically when it feels correct to be given and when it feels correct to be receiving. And a lot of people talk about this in terms of the masculine feminine dynamics. The masculine, the provider, to give, lean forward. The feminine, the receiver, lean back. And it's really learning the harmony, the dynamics of that within ourselves. And human design is such a beautiful tool that can provide you with information, and then your work is the integration of what that looks like. It really is about breaking those non-serving patterns and opening you up to your serving patterns. So yesterday we dived in about, kind of really, we looked at your aura and what that means in terms of what you are naturally transmitting in the world and ensuring you are owning that aura. You are owning that sensation, that feeling that others feel, and not trying, forcing, pretending to be another type, if you will. And, that might be on a subconscious level because of programming and conditioning and how you were raised when you were younger. We also looked at your brand profile. So when you look at your chart, that's your profile, the first number. So I'm a 6-2. So for me, it's a 6. And really, what style of marketing, what style of content is really supportive for you? Because what we want to be learning is to make these changes, these tweaks, and these shifts. So what we are creating and how we are doing business is more in alignment with who we've naturally come here to be, and less what our mind thinks, believes is correct. Because when we're operating from what our mind believes to be true, oftentimes that's the not self. And so it's really dismantling all of this. The way that I work and how I work for me and how I work for my clients is really to prioritize the focus to being on who you came here to be, as opposed to the deconditioning and the healing. They are important. We do need to decondition, and there are elements of us to heal. However, when we are really focused on what is wrong, what do you think is going to happen? We're focusing on what is wrong. And so we are perpetuating more of what is wrong. For me, it's way more beneficial to actually shift the focus into learning, into remembering who you are, that deep remembrance. What are my gifts? What are my strengths? What are my talents? Excuse me, I got a little bit of a runny nose. What are my talents? And to prioritize being those, using those in your life, leveraging those in your business, and then all of the not self, the deconditioning and the healing, it will naturally emerge. And for me, that's when I believe it's ripe and ready to be released. And it happens in a lot more like organic way, as opposed to, this kind of, I don't know what the word to describe it, this like rigid way of like, right, I need to clean up everything and I need to heal everything and I need to decondition everything, and then I will live my life. Because all that's actually going to do is prevent you from living your life, prevent you from moving forward, prevent you from actually enjoying in the now, right here, right now, in this moment today. So I prefer for that to be the focal point. And we can use human design and gene keys to really highlight to you your gifts, your strengths, your talents, and really leveraging these in your business. really like shining and sharing these and operating on that frequency, creating those shifts, those tweaks, those adjustments, so you will consistently operate on that frequency. Okay, so what we are diving into today is selling using human design. So I put in the group, so this will be dependent on where you are on your human design journey. For those who have their playbooks, part 3 of your playbook is going to really support you with this information that I'm going to provide for you today. If you do not have your playbook, you are very welcome to purchase one. You can just reach out to me with regards to that. Or I have put 2 charts, one which is labeled like, I think it's called Playbook Part 3, but it's about the energy centers. That is the one you want to be looking at today. Reference it with your own chart so you are able to distinguish for yourself what centers are defined and what centers are open stroke undefined. Okay, and I'm going to bring up my chart now as an example. Okay. So what we are looking at here is we are looking at this part of your chart. So get your chart now. Make sure you have your chart to hand, because what I want to do is not just have this like information, but I want you to make it applicable for you and your chart itself, for you. Okay, so you can start to integrate all of this for you. So the chart that I posted in the group gives you the labels of each of these, which is what we call energy centers. So that's all these funny looking shapes that we can see. I'm going to make that a little larger. Okay, there are 9 of them. We are moving into becoming 9-centered human beings. There is a correlation of this with the chakra system, which is obviously 7 energy centers. With human design, it's moving into 9-centered, and this will actually shift as well. The next stage, what is being said, the next part of human design that will be channeled through, as yet it is not here, will move us into a 13-centered human being. And then more. To the point, what we're doing is we're moving into basically being more, identifying more, if we want to use that word identity, as an energetic being as opposed to matter, the physical being. Okay, but again, this is all future. This will not be happening within our lifetime, so we want to have an awareness of this. Okay, but our focus wants to be on the here and the now. So we are 9-centered human beings. And an energy center is essentially, it's a portal within which you are able to receive information from the cosmic intelligence. Okay, so before you were born, when you chose to come back here to incarnate into your physical body now, your soul made choices. Okay, in terms of the portals, i.e. energy centers, that your soul wanted to learn lessons in, to receive information, 1 contract, and the portals that your soul wanted to have consistent energy in, to feel strong in, because these are your strengths, i.e. part of the contract there is then to give. This is what you have. It's a gift. It's a strength. It's a strength that you have to provide for others. So this was chosen. Your soul chose this. Okay. So when we learn this, we can really look at the trajectory of our life, the lessons that we chose to come here and learn. And when I talk about lessons, I always want you to think of them as a spiral, because we never learn a lesson once and that's it, we're done. Yeah, there's no end. It's a spiral. You learn the lesson and then you deepen it, and then you deepen it, and then you deepen it, and then you deepen it. So the openness is essentially what is said a lot of the times is this is where you go to school in life. And the definedness, okay, and I'm going to explain what they are shortly, is where you teach. So we can use this to see how we can leverage this in our business. So we'll start from the beginning, because again, it's going to be very dependent when you are on your journey. But I do want to ensure that, you know, everyone is receiving what they need. If the center is white, it is said to be open / undefined. If it's completely white, so you see here, there's this little triangle and none of the numbers are colored in. So I'm open, and I will explain what that means. If it's the center is white, but you have a number colored in, so you can see here I've got 64 colored in, but the shape is white, it's undefined. I'm going to just be referencing the energy centers as open for this lesson, okay? So if it's white, it's open. That's what it means. If it's colored in, so you can see I've got some shapes here that are colored in, that means it's defined. So look at your chart now and have a look at what shapes are colored in and what shapes are white, okay? And then you can use the chart that I've put in the group that labels what each center is, so you know for yourself what centers are defined and what centers are open. I'll quickly list them here, but again, you can use what I've shared in the group to remind you. So at the top here, we have our head center, and then we have our ajna, and then we have our throat. We've got the diamond in the middle is our G center, which is our magnetic monopole. This one here, which is completely open in me, is our heart. It's our ego. If we jump to the left-hand side, this triangle is your spleen. The square in the middle here is your sacral. The triangle going this way is your solar plexus. And right at the very bottom, we have our root. Okay. Again, if you missed all of that, don't worry. Go and open what I've shared in the group. And then just what I want you to do, the starting place, is I just want you to have awareness where you are open and where you are defined. That's it. Okay. Right. So I'm going to stop my share. We might come back to that. So in our openness, okay, so the parts where you are open, sorry, it's not closing here. There we go. So the parts of you that are open, i.e. white. Remember, these centers are energy portals, and I'm going to share with you today the wisdom that lives in each individual energy portal. So we're going to go through them, the head, the ajna, the throat, etc. But I want you to understand what it means when it's open. It literally means, well, it's like it as it sounds, it's open. So you are open to absorbing the energy from your environment and from others. So I always use this analogy. Imagine you are in a room. You're in a very small room. It's just you in that room. Your defined centers, the door is closed. You still feel the energy in those centers. It's defined. It's a strength in you. You've got natural, consistent access to what is within that center. If it's white, if it's open, the door is open. Energy is coming in and you are absorbing that energy at all moments. The key for you is to not identify with the energy you are absorbing. So in the past, spiritual awakening, spiritual development was very much, and I'm pretty sure this would be the same for all of us. We could go and live on the top of a mountain and be by ourselves and we would feel pretty damn good most of the time. The trick, the key is to actually learn to be integrated in life, to be in and among with other people in different environments, okay? And therefore be absorbing that energy. And your work is to choose to discern what you and who you are here to participate with. The issue, if you will, is that we don't have an understanding of this. And so today we have been absorbing the energy of others and identifying with it. So we feel their energy. Okay, remember, this is all happening on a subconscious level. We're feeling that energy. We're not understanding that it's not us. It's not who we are. And so therefore we are identifying with this, and this has been happening since day dot, since when you were born. We identify with this energy, and therefore we become this energy, but it's the not self. It's not you. It's not your truth. You've just taken on the identity and the conditioning and the programming of somebody else. So that's why part of this work, it is about the deconditioning of those centers, because it's important, because otherwise those centers are like, how can I say it? They're still full, okay? And they're full of an identity that is not the truth of us. It does not serve us. It's not who we are. And so the work in the open centers is to have them open. No identity attached. So when you're out there in the world and you are absorbing the energy of others through these centers, because it will naturally happen, you now have an understanding where you can really go, you know what, this is not me. I don't identify with this. And you allow the energy just to kind of flow through you. If the energy of the other, you feel it serves you, so it's going to support you in some capacity, then you can choose to participate with that energy. And that's when, you're going to have that response of like, yes, I want to work with you. Yes, I want to go out with you. Yes, I want to make babies with you. Yes, I'll go for a drink with you. Yes, I'll go on this podcast with you. You then are choosing to participate with the other person's energy. And that's when you're going to create that win-win. And again, we're always looking for that point of attraction for our fractal family. Because when you feel the energy and you're like, oh, yeah, I want to participate with this, it feels correct for me. And we would always use our strategy and authority to support us in that discernment. That is when you will then be choosing to put yourself in the correct place with the correct people at the correct time and open yourselves up for your manifestations with those that were always designed to support you with this. And that's when it really feels like effortless, not because we're not doing anything, but because it just feels very aligned. Okay. So that's the openness. That's really what it's about. It's about that discernment in who are we going to participate with? Yeah, what feels correct for us? What feels supportive for us? What energy are we, again, it's the openness, are we choosing to receive that is, again, going to support us and provide for us on our journey? And those that do not feel supportive and do not feel like it's going to provide for us, and we don't want to receive this energy, that's where we have to have these strong boundaries and say no. And it's not that we're a bitch, it's just that person, that circumstance, that situation is not correct for me. And I'm good with that. Okay. So a lot of the times people say it's about like nature versus nurture. So like nature is your defined centers, the bits that are colored in. Yeah, like this is like, you can't avoid this energy. It's very natural in you. And in the centers, the defined centers you have, I say they are your strengths. It's a strength that you have that you are here to leverage in your business and in life. And this is where you will provide, you will give to others. The nurture is in the openness, is how you've been nurtured. In an ideal world, what we desire is when children are born, when we were born, to have had an environment, to have had people around us that were in their healthy expressions, that were in their true self. And so how we were nurtured was via their highest potential. However, we all know that's not how it has been thus far, although we are moving into that world. Like that's what we, me, you, and so many others are choosing to create right now. And that's why I say, like, part of my mission is to put self-expression at the heart of the education industry. And I don't necessarily just mean schools in that capacity. It's like in all elements where we educate our children, and that includes parents for their children. When we raise our children in accordance with their gifts, their strengths, their talents, when we kind of remind them of who they naturally are, again, their gifts, their strengths, their talents, when we stop interfering of what we think knows best, and we provide space to really allow them to enhance and embrace their gifts, their strengths, their talents, they will grow up in that self-expression, in their truest self. And that's what I'm really looking to create. But my upbringing certainly wasn't that. And, you know, no blame, no fault whatsoever. Like, it just is. So a lot of the times in this openness, we have been nurtured through the programming and the conditioning of others. And in human design, this is what we call the not self. And yesterday, depending on your type, I spoke about the not self theme, and there's a post in here as well. So I'm a generator. For generators, manifesting generators, it's frustration. When I'm in my not self, there's going to be an element of frustration happening about myself, about my circumstances, about other people. And that's where I go like, ooh, I'm in my not self. So there is a distortion in my system. There is some form of programming, of conditioning that is playing out that I've identified with at some point. And now it's coming up. So I can choose to no longer identify with it. And instead of, you know, diving into the rabbit hole as to like, what is that? What is it? What is it? I will just focus on what my gift is. And that's where we can bring Gene Keys into play, because Gene Keys can really provide language to what your shadow and to what your gift is. So you can consciously choose in each and every moment to move from the state of your shadow to the state of your gift. There's a lot of nuances within that. Like, it sounds very simplistic, and the truth is it is. However, there will be a lot within our system, in our body as well, that may create resistance to allowing it to be that simplistic. Okay, so we're not going to dive into that now. So selling, okay, selling, and this has been a huge journey for me. So I don't want anyone to get me wrong with this. Learning to sell, feeling comfortable to sell, feeling confident in selling, feeling okay in selling, letting go of the guilt in selling has been a huge journey for me. Before I was a coach mentor, I had an English language teacher training and recruitment company. So it was all like online. And I basically had an accredited course where people would come, they would train to get qualified to be an English language teacher. And then part of the deal was I also had partnerships with schools all over the world. And then I would find them a job. So their accredited qualification that they received from me would provide them with the legalities that they needed to receive their visa. And then, yeah, it was just a case of booking the flight and off they went to their new life, to their new world. Okay. Now, throughout my entire life, there has been a very strong entrepreneurial spirit in me. Okay. And I have tried for many, many years to have different businesses. So the main one was the teacher training and recruitment one before my coaching mentoring one. Before that, it was like little ones here and there, here and there, here and there. Going back to, you know, even when I was young, my brother and I set up our own like little library. So I'm talking about when we were at school, at our middle school, I believe this was, where we had books and then we would like loan them to our friends for like 10p. Yeah, we even did like the little stickers in the book, wrote the date, they gave them back, etc. So I've had this strong entrepreneurial spirit in me. And if you dive into my design, you can see all of the clues for that is within there. However, selling has felt icky for many years. So this is what I'm conveying to you. It's a journey that I've been on. And what I would desire for everyone is this piece. And it is, so I've got the 44. So this may or may not mean, okay, but I just want you to kind of see how really the clues for everything are in your charts. I promise you this. Okay, so I'm going to share my chart again. Okay. So, Anne, if you're watching this, this might be beneficial for you. So you see here, I have 44. This is my sun personality. So it's my life's work when we come into Gene Keys, it's all up here. It's a large essence of what I am. Your sun and your earth are like 70% of your energetics, etc., etc., etc. And this channel here is said to be, it's like the salesperson. It's like the channel of the entrepreneur. Now, the bit for me is this 26, because this gate, which I do not have, is all around integrity. So for me, a huge piece has been, I will only feel comfortable in selling if I feel it's in integrity with the deepest part of me. And that 26 is like, it's a place of potential wisdom, but I don't have natural and consistent access to that energy. So what that creates within me is a lot of like questioning, and therefore, okay, in that questioning can create the resistance to selling, is what I will say. Now, my husband has that 26, okay? So he provides a lot of support. I'm able to calibrate to his energy within my business so we can create that beautiful channel together. And therefore, I then have the energy. I literally have access to the energy of that channel, which is selling through integrity. That is the key piece within that. Okay. So when I came to understand that, and I imagine it's the same for you, because anyone that is in this space, you're not here just to make a quick buck. It's not about just quickly making money. It's about having that deep foundation. It's about really like desiring the resources that are going to support you in the lifestyle you want, but in a way that creates that win-win. You are providing a service for others. It's almost like that service over selling, but the byproduct of that, when you focus on your service, is that you're able to sell. because you deeply believe in what you are providing, in what you are giving. It's aligned with your gifts, your strengths, your talents, and it just feels very differently. So selling is solving problems. That's what it is. You are selling something to solve a problem to another. And we're not looking at this problem as in, we're not buying into the whole like fear-based problem focused marketing and all of that. It really is what I am delivering is going to help solve a problem that the other is in. And what people sell to me is going to help solve a problem that I'm in. And that's where we want to have the frequency of money, of resources to be flowing freely. And it really ties back to what I was saying in yesterday's live about the differences that we all have that we bring to the table. We're not all here to be the savior for everyone. I have things to give, to provide. I have solutions to problems for my fractal family. When they are open to receiving these, I'm able to provide them the next piece that they need. So they are then open to the resources to, creating the next or finding the next piece of their puzzle to put into place. And vice versa. There are people that are here to provide the support that I am here to receive to solve problems. And when we kind of look at it like that, we're all just kind of scratching each other's back in a way that's really supportive, and it doesn't create lack, and it doesn't create scarcity, and it doesn't create that like, oh my God, I'm not enough. And we can just own who we are, and we don't need to be any more than that, and we're definitely not any less than that. And we can see what that brings to the table. It gives full permission for the world to flow in that capacity. Okay. So when you see selling is solving problems, you're only able to really deliver that when you are able to feel what the client feels. Okay. So we're not just selling anything to solve a problem. And, that's where sometimes I feel the frustration and a generator, not self-imp, might kick in, because it's like, I don't want to sell anything. Again, it's where that integrity piece comes in. It's deep energy work. Yeah. It's like learning what my ideal clients are actually struggling with in their minds and how I can serve them. It's not just selling anything so I've got some money in the bank. It's really going deeper than that. And that is why embodiment, which I'm sure you've all heard a gazillion times, is essential. And this is what we're going to be exploring, is you, your open centers, you and the embodiment within those open centers, so you can then sell through those open centers in an embodied way. It's deep energy work for you first, and then you will get a glimpse into the mind of what your potential clients are struggling with. I don't like that word, but I can't think of another word. And that clarity on how you can serve them. And you flow that through what you are selling, through the language, through the marketing, bringing in the frequency that we spoke about yesterday for your marketing. And that's when you become the point of attraction for them. And they're like, oh my God, yeah, like, yes, like this is a yes. I don't even know why. I've never met this person before, or in whatever capacity it may be. But they're just like, yes, like I want this. And it creates a win-win, because you're doing it at a deep level of service to humanity. The byproduct is the resources you receive for that. And what happens to those people that step into your spaces, because you're creating it from a deep level of service to humanity, is you give them what they need on a deep energetic level. And then they're like, wow, that was amazing. And they either desire more from you, or they become your best referral system, the best affiliate. They start sharing you out there in the world, and it just creates this, like, the way I'm going to call it is this big bubble of love. And that feels good, right? Isn't that how we want to sell? Isn't that how we want to be? Isn't that the new business paradigm that we want to be, the leaders of, that we are, paving the way for? But it does really stem from you first and your energy work, okay? So alignment attracts unalignment, all right? So what that means is, look at your energy centers, those that you are open in, and I'll share my screen again in a minute to give an example. You will attract those that have defined centers, okay? Now, I think it's probably best I share my screen for this piece. Ooh. I left you all. Okay, I just going to check, because I just saw Facebook came up very quickly on my, okay. All right, it's still looking good. All right, okay, all right. There's my little fear coming in there. Right, so let's have a look here. So I am open in my ego, in my heart, okay? So in our openness, as I've been saying, this is where we absorb the energy of others and we discern if we're going to identify with it or not. It's the portal. If it's open, it's as it sounds. So close your eyes and imagine that open center. And it's, for me, the way I see it, it's a big black hole. It's where you get to connect through your experiences in life to the cosmic intelligence and your potential wisdom. But it's infinite. Yeah, the wisdom that exists within your open centers are infinite. You will never receive all of the information. You will never receive all of that information. Again, it's a spiral. So you will learn lessons and you will receive wisdom like at this level, and then it will deepen the next time, and then it will deepen, and then it will deepen. Okay, so you have to bear that in mind. Like, this is your school. This is where you're going to school in life. This is your wisdom in your open centers, the ones that are not colored in. If they are colored in, you've already gone to school in life. If they are colored in, this is what you are here to give. Yeah, it's part of your strength. And this is the real little piece here. Just because something is defined in your chart does not necessarily mean you are in alignment. We all have a lot of conditioning. We all have a lot of programming in this lifetime and beyond. We have a lot of unhealthy expressions. We have a lot of adjustments that we have to make in how we have been living so far. Like, we have to make those changes now so we can live more in alignment with ourselves. Those that have a defined heart, okay, they have a strength in, so with the heart, with the ego, the theme here is all about willpower. It's all about enoughness, okay? So I'm open. A huge challenge throughout my life has been to learn that I am enough, to have that willpower to keep going, to really learn, to lock in, to feel on a cellular level, like, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. And I have had an abundance of evidence to prove that otherwise, because that was always going to be my journey, because I don't have consistent access. I don't have a strength here in knowing I'm enough. I've always looked externally for that validation. Yeah, someone else tell me I'm enough, and then I'll believe it, because I don't inherently have access to it, because I'm open in the center. If someone has a defined heart, again, potentially, because there's a lot of nuances in each of our individual journey, they kind of have this feeling like I know I'm enough. Like my husband has a defined heart. Like he's like, I know I'm enough. Like I'm good in that. Like that hasn't been a life lesson for me. Like I'm good here. And I'm just like, oh my God, how amazing would it be to consistently feel that, because I don't. Now, where the beauty in my open heart lives is in the lessons I've come here to learn, in the wisdom I have come here to receive through this open center. Because it gets deeper and deeper and deeper every time. And then through my embodiment of the wisdom of the lessons that I've learned through this center, I then get to be the point of attraction for those that have a defined heart center, but are not in alignment with it. Because then I get to share my wisdom with them and provide for them through that wisdom, so they can move into alignment with that. So this is why it said we sell through our openness, but that is only possible when we are embodied in the wisdom that we are selling. And that is why, you know, you hear so many people speak about it, embodiment, but it really is everything. So if you are at a point where you are selling something, but you know you are not embodied in it, like honestly, like stop. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but you are making it way harder for yourself. I guarantee that it's something you are embodied in through one or more of your open centers. As I say, we're going to go through the theme of each center and the sabotaging patterns. And then I've got a little bit of homework that I'm going to get you to explore today. Okay. But that's what this is about. It's about let's make this easy for you. All right. And so, yeah, what you want to question for me with that like open heart is I attract those with a defined heart if they are unaligned. So again, this is why we're working with fractal families. We're not here for everyone. There may be somebody that has a defined heart. They are in alignment with it. Like they don't require anything. They don't need to tweak, to change, to shift. But the reality is, like, we're all on a journey. Yeah, we're all humans. We might be soul-led humans, heart-led humans, but we're all humans. We all have some form of conditioning, some form of programming. We are operating in the unhealthy expressions, and we are all here designed to support each other at different points and different parts of the journey. Yeah, like even if I'm working with you now, or if I've worked for you in the past, and there's a lady in here, Sherry, she was in my first ever program that I did called Master Life. Yeah, in the early teachings that I did, she was a huge part of my journey. She was signing up for everything, for which I am forever grateful. But I'm not the coach, the mentor for her forever. I was supportive for her at that point of her journey. Maybe we'll cross paths again in the future. Like, we don't know. But this is where we need to learn to like lean back and let go of control and really trust. And again, through the absorption of energy throughout our day-to-day life, have that discernment in who or what do I want to participate with. And that's where we use our strategy and authority. Okay. So if someone is aligned with their defined heart, it's good. Like they don't really require anything. Okay. They get to leverage that in their business. Perfect. However, if someone is defined in their heart and they are not in alignment and they are operating still through the unhealthy expressions that live within that heart, me, through my experiences, through my lessons, through my access to the wisdom that is in this, through my connection to the cosmic intelligence in what this means, through my own processes in learning and receiving and integrating and embodying this wisdom, I can support them. Yeah, I can sell through this center and attract them into my world, and then use my gifts, my strengths, my talents, because that's it. We're not like a one-dimensional being, we're multifaceted. There's going to be lots of other parts and pieces that we bring into place, but I get through that wisdom, I know the language to speak to them. I can really understand what they are feeling. Yeah, I understand their problem because I have lived it, I have experienced it, and I have solutions for it. And that is what I'm selling to them. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. I think I want to check in with the comments shortly. And then what you do, okay, and we're going to go through the centers very shortly. And then you bring them back into their alignment. You bring them back to their natural self, back to their gifts. Because remember, their strength, their gift is in that defined heart center. They're not aligned with it. Through your wisdom and your process in learning to consistently navigate what it feels in that not enoughness, you can support them, bring them back to their gifts, so then they can go and leverage that in their business. You're giving them the foundation that they need so they can go and give to others. Again, teamwork. We're all working in a team here. Okay. You're going to really support them in breaking the patterns where they're repressing their gifts. Because in our definition, so again, these are the colored centers, and it is the colored numbers as well, but we're going to talk about that on Thursday. We have a tendency to suppress ourselves, to repress our strengths, our gifts, our talents, because when we were in our truest and natural expression when we were younger, it made everyone around us feel quite uncomfortable. So we associate our naturalness, our true self, with that reaction of others where it's like, calm down, dumb yourself down, don't big yourself up too much, don't be in this big, bold, beautiful expression of yourself. Because when we grew up, we saw how uncomfortable it made everybody else, but that's their issue, not yours. So now we're learning to break the patterns where we actually repress our truest self, so we can be the most authentic expression and our truest self in the world from here on in. Because that's the gift right there. That's actually our purpose. That's who we came here to be. Okay. So it's through the wisdom of the life lessons that you learn, you can support those that have that definition in breaking those patterns where they are repressing themselves. And all we're doing then, it's like literally imagine it like dominoes. You're just giving the next person permission to be their truest self. Stop repressing your gifts. This is what it is. I've learned this through my wisdom and my connection to the cosmic intelligence. Here you go. Oh, thank you very much. Here, I will pay you handsomely for this. Great. All right, domino knocked down. They can then go on because they are now in their truest expression. They are now in their gifts. They have wisdom as well that they have learned through their life lessons, can go and pass it on to the next. That's the world we want to create, isn't it? Like, that's the world we want to create. Okay. And then if you refer back to the brand lines that we spoke about yesterday, you want to be marketing and sharing that through your line. So I'm a line 6, vision and story. So if I'm sharing that enoughness, the wisdom that is in that open ego center of mine, okay, to attract those that are unaligned but are defined. I will do that through sharing my vision of the world, which I was just talking about, through sharing my story. Okay. So a starting place for you in terms of selling is you've got to look at what you're selling. What is the program? What is the course? What is the transformation? And then you want to cross-reference that with the centers and the common non-serving patterns that show up. And that's what I'm going to give you those now. Okay, so you're going to have this information that you can then refer back to, because this is going to help you feel into what problem you are solving and what the not self-talk and the not self patterns are showing up. So when we look at the open heart, which I'm using as the example, we are looking at, and just bringing up what the themes are here. We're looking at, again, what I said, it's a source of willpower, it's of worth. The not self is feeling unworthy, it's feeling undervalued. So the not self-talk is going to be all around that. Okay, the potential wisdom here is of that inherent worth. What that might look like is making promises that they cannot keep, overgiving, overfunctioning, that real push, force, overlearning. I need to learn more. Okay, because it's through that learning that you feel the enoughness. So it's knowing that, and I'm going to go through that again, so don't worry. So you understand what patterns might be playing out for somebody that is not in alignment with one of their strengths, i.e. their defined center. Okay. And again, this is only going to work if you are in an embodied place yourself. So you have experienced this not self-talk. You have experienced these patterns, and you have a process that works for you, which you can now sell to others. Okay. That's why integrity. We're not going to use this so we can manipulate people to make money. We're not here for that. We're here for change. For you first, through your embodied process, and then for others who you're here to serve, creating that win-win, because you're really setting from a place where, like, you actually do know. You're not just using the correct words and the correct terminology to convince somebody. It's like, I know, I get you. I've lived it. I've experienced it. I breathed it. I'm on the other side of it. I can support you with this. I can bring you back into alignment so you stop repressing your gifts. And that is where you get that certainty and that confidence that what you are delivering is creating change. And this is why then when you speak, when you sell, you will not only attract your ideal client, your ideal customer, but you will sell in a way that feels supportive for you, because you know the service you are providing. And that's when it really like dismantles like what selling is. It's not icky. It's not icky. It's essential in the world if we want to create change. Okay. So we're going to go through each of the centers, and within each of the centers, I'm going to take you through the source of each center and the potential wisdom that lives there, and the self-sabotaging patterns that play out. And then I'm going to give you an example using the root center, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of homework that I would invite you to do. But just before we do that, I'm just going to check where we're at in the Facebook group. Oh dear. just to see. There we go. So it's saying I'm still playing. Good. All right, great. All right, perfect. Good, good, good. So just check in that we are all still good, which we are, which makes me very happy. So the next part, it's not going to take too long, and I will do what I did yesterday as well. I'll kind of do an overview of the information I'm going to give you, just so you've got like a quick reference to go back to. You are very welcome with what I'm sharing in a group, like copy and paste it into Word documents. So you've got references that you can go back to like time and time again, because it is going to be really beneficial for you. A lot of the times with human design specifically, it is an experiment. Like you've got to play about with it a little bit, and it is a lot of information that will come at you. So even in like 5 days like this, it's a lot of information that's going to be coming at you, and I don't imagine that you're going to like really retain it and integrate it all right now. So feel free, copy paste, have a folder, human design folder on your desktop, have the Word documents going on, save them as PDFs, like whatever works for you, so you can return to. So let's say you're going to create your next launch, your next program, you're looking at the transformation it delivers. You can then refer to this information in terms of what centers you're going to be speaking to. So you can use the language and the common self-sabotaging patterns, bring them in to convey in your marketing, in your selling, in your messaging. I feel you, I get you, like this is it. There's another reason why I love human design and Gene Keys, because a lot of the times it's like, we know all of this, like we felt it, we've had the sensations, but it can sometimes feel challenging to put language to it, to actually pinpoint what that non-serving pattern is, to really pinpoint the language that is going to activate our fractal family and stop them scrolling and make them go, oh my God, yes, 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 that's me, that's me, that's me. Oh my God, this person can provide a solution for my problem. Like I can feel them. Like I know they understand this on a deep level. Like I can feel that in their energetics. And that's when people are going to reach out to you. That's when people are going to be like, okay, yes, please. And they might not know why. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, we see all of those stories, but there is a reason why people experience that, where people are just like, yes, in an instant. And it's energetics. It's always energetics. Like it's always energetics. So my encouragement is always to not keep pushing the train that you're on right now, if you can feel it's not working and it's not embodied. You've got to create that pause. You've got to create that space. You've got to create that space, that time where you go away and you do your deep inner work. And in the meantime of that, if there is this like, oh, but I'm desperate to make money, I need money now, well, then you've got to look at your motivation for why you're doing what you're doing. Because if it is about the money, it's just going to feel icky, and potentially there might be another short-term solution within which you can receive the resources that you need while you lay this foundation for your forevermore. It's much better to do it that way. Like I promise you. Again, I've done it the other way, where it was just, you know, I've had businesses before this one where the motivation was money. Did it light me up? Did it bring me joy? Did it create more energy in my day? Did it make me fall in love with life? Did it ignite the passion in me? No. Gave me money in the bank. And that's not what we're here for. We are here to live our life in our fullest potential, and to really, the service that we provide is because we're living our life in our fullest potential, and we're able to share that with others. Okay, so I can ramble about this all day, but I won't. Let's go through these energy centers. So again, look at your chart, note where you're open, where you're undefined, because this is where you want to be selling through. but you only want to be selling through if you can recognize that you are embodied in a part of this. Now, remember, we're not talking, perfection. It's the black hole. It's infinite wisdom here. So if you have had an experience that has enabled you to embody a part of this that you can now turn around and, support somebody else in, like, that's enough. Like, that's enough. So I don't want anyone to be sitting there going, I'm not embodied anywhere, because that's bullshit. Okay. You certainly wouldn't be in a group like this, opening yourself up to learning things like this and integrating things like this if you were not embodied in a certain part. Your work is just to create some space where you can reflect, look back at what that is. Like, that you're the one that's lived your life. Okay. So with your head, so we're looking at the very, very top there. So I am undefined in my head. So this is a potential source of wisdom for me. The selling theme here is inspiration. So if you want to sell through your open head, the theme is going to be all around inspiration. Okay. It's the place of potential wisdom for really basking in the unknown, for feeling safe and comfortable in the confusion. Again, a real embodied piece for me. Like, really, I would be in a space of confusion for months, for years even. Like, I don't know. And that I don't know. That resistant to being in the confusion, because I believed it meant there was something wrong with me, kept me in the unknown. And then I would just end up making any decisions from my not self, because I was really uncomfortable in the unknown. The huge journey for me was to go on a journey to be okay in the confusion. In fact, I go more than that now. When I start to go, oh, I feel a little confused about something, I'm not sure about something, I get excited, because I know it's in the allowance of this confusion, when I just allow the energy to move through me, that clarity will be made known. And that is when I open myself up to inspiration, to ideas, to the what next. There's no hurry to be anywhere else other than here, even if here is confused. That's okay. I'll go on and just get on with other things. I'll go up to my little allotment plot. I'll, take my daughter to the park. I'll make some food. I'll, read a book. It doesn't matter. I accept where I am in the confusion. It doesn't create a pressure in me. It doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. And I just allow myself through the confusion to access that potential wisdom. Like, it's beautiful, and it's a huge selling theme for me, because there's a lot of people that are like, I don't know. Mix that with I'll bring in another piece, but I have a defined G center, which is all around identity and direction. I don't often sell through that, but I leverage that in my business. So when people are in that state of confusion and I'm selling through this, and like, it's good to be in the unknown. It's through the confusion you'll get the clarity. They then step into my world, and part of my strength is the G center, direction and identity. Part of my gifts are to activate in you that deep knowing of who you are and what you came here to do, and to shift you into the correct trajectory, the correct direction for you in your life. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. So some self-sabotaging themes here is the main one that I know, because I hear it a lot, is monkey mind. You are literally stuck in your mind, thinking, oftentimes I see this a lot, or I hear a lot where people are like, oh, I climb into bed at night and I just can't switch my mind off. The monkey mind is on display. It's a self-sabotaging pattern, and it means it's an indication that you are not in alignment with the portal of this center. You get this feeling to move from the pressure. I just need to do something without clarity, because again, not feeling safe in the unknown. Just got to do something. It doesn't matter what, anything. I used to do this. I can really empathize with this. I can really relate to this. Like, I've got a lot of examples I can share of this, where I would do something without clarity. And that was just because I was doing to relieve the mental pressure I was feeling. And did it create what I actually desired? No, of course not. I would make decisions very quickly. Again, just to move from that pressure. I'm not safe in the confusion. I just want to move quickly. Thinking about things that do not matter. Okay. So you know that you want to be focused on something in your business. You know you want to be focused on your next launch, but you're starting to think about that room that is not tidy upstairs, or you're starting to think about, I don't know, like your car that's not cleaned, or you're starting to think about other aspects of your business. Doesn't matter right now. Yeah, this is all about focus. And there will be a tendency to listen to external authorities and really be easily influenced by others. So they are your self-sabotaging patterns. Yeah, and it's your source here is the potential wisdom, really learning to be in the unknown, really learning to be okay in the confusion, and just to move through it. Like, it's good. There's no problems. So when you're selling through this center, if you have it open or undefined, that's what you want to consider. The transformation that they're looking for is to receive inspiration, to receive ideas. The journey is to learn to feel safe and okay in the confusion. What else can they do in that moment that's going to get them out of their mind, and to allow that clarity to come through? And then the self-sabotaging patterns, what they may be displaying. And again, this is what you are bringing to their awareness when you are selling, so they can identify with that and go, oh my God, yes, that is me. Well, I don't want to do that anymore. Help me. How can you help me? Well, I have the solution right here. Here is XYZ for, ABC. Is the monkey mind, moving from pressure to do something without clarity, quick decisions, thinking about things that don't matter, listening to those external authority. So if you have an open or an undefined head, contemplate yourself, reflect back on your journey with this. Is there an element of this that you feel embodied in that you can then sell through? Okay. The next one down is what is called your ajna. And the setting theme for this is certainty. I had so I've got a couple of ladies I'm working with at the moment in a mastermind capacity, and we were having huge conversations around certainty and this need to be certain. The not self of this is when we are pretending to be certain about something. Now, the reason for that is because we need to feel that certainty. And again, it moves into that space of just control, I guess. The potential wisdom here is to the ability to adapt to new situations with curiosity, with creativity, allowing your mind to be like, you know what, anything is possible. Like, anything is possible. I don't need to be certain, as in have the evidence in order for the creation of this. That's the wisdom that lives here. Like, imagine that in the world. The self-sabotaging patterns, it is that fixed mindset. It is, it's like, like there's no openness, if you will. The tendency to overthink about circumstances, about situations. Again, that need to be certain. Really the energy of trying to convince everybody that you are right. I am right, I am right, I am right. And again, I'm undefined here. I absolutely had, and probably still do at times, have this energy of like, I'm right, of course I'm right. But that's not coming from the energy of truth per se. It's coming from this, I need to feel certain in this because I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable in the uncertainty. And in that, not open to the infinite possibilities that exist for any circumstance and any situation. Another self-sabotaging pattern here is the tendency to relive the past again and again and again and again, accumulating evidence, even if it doesn't really support you in what you want now, and worrying about the future. Okay. The next one is our throat. So with our throat, all of our energy is looking to move to our throat because this is the portal of expression. Okay, it's the portal of expression and manifestation. When all of our energy is in its truest form, reaches our throat, there's no distortion in the system, and then we express ourselves in the right place with the right people at the right time, that's when we receive our manifestations. The tendency, though, is to express very quickly. So we don't allow the integration of the energy in our system. So the not self is really feeling that pressure to speak, because what you're really looking for is attention, to be seen, to be heard. And you're not speaking, because the energy is ripe and ready to be spoken. You're speaking because it's like, oh my God, I felt something, anything, let me just speak this. And I see this a lot when people have, again, your head, they have an idea, they have an inspiration. And instead of allowing the full integration of that idea and inspiration to move through their system, to move through all of the energy centers and really create that potency that we want, we feel uncomfortable. We feel unfamiliar is the word with that new energy. And we just go, okay, let's just speak. Okay. Or it's coming from that desperate of, oh, I've got an idea, I've got an inspiration. Look, everyone, look at me, look at me, look at me. And that's just not the truth. That's your not self. And it's going to lose that idea, that inspiration you have. It's just going to feel like bleh when it is expressed. So this is where it really is such, the learning is, we're not in a hurry to move. If you're feeling in a hurry to move, if you're feeling an urgency in anything, it's probably your not self. It's probably some form of lack or not enoughness that is driving you, that is moving you. And we don't want to move from that space. So pause. Dive in. Dive in deep to your energy. Clean up any distortion that is going on, and then move. Sherry, who's in this group, so if you are watching this, Sherry, I'd love for you to share in this group. She did a great post on her profile earlier, and it was about this hurry, and it was really fun. It was really funny. It tickled me, and I was like, oh, it would be perfect. So Sherry, if you're watching this, I'm going to ask you anyway, outside of this, to share in the group, because it really emphasizes what I'm saying here. When we are in a space of urgency, when we are feeling pressure, and we just like, okay, I'm just going to move, we oftentimes don't move with precision. We move with fear, with panic, with not enoughness, and therefore perpetuate more of that. What's the expression that's always used? Slow down to speed up. Slow down to speed up. I cannot emphasize that enough. So the potential wisdom in your throat is really that authentic expression. and the ability to really recognize that, okay? To really recognize that. The self-sabotaging patterns is that feeling of never feeling seen. I don't feel seen. Whatever I do, I've done 365 days of life and I still don't feel seen. I went live consistently for, 6 million days of the year. I know that's not even a thing. And I still don't feel seen. It's like whatever you do, you don't feel seen. It's because you're in the not self. Or you do something to get attention. You try and be louder. You try and be noisier. Like, you I don't know, the big fanfares going on, or whatever you're doing to attract attention. But it's not your true self. It doesn't feel natural for you, but you're doing it because you're just like, well, if I have big, brighter, bolder colors, then I'm going to attract the attention, not self. Or you speak. You speak. This is what I have to discern and question within myself a lot, because I speak a lot. And I know that. Yeah, if you've been in my world a while, you know that. It's the tendency that I have. So I'm always discerning, am I speaking because of my not self, in this belief if I give more, then it will mean more? Or is it just like I have a lot of true self-expression to share? The not self of this can feel very much like a look at me energy, look at what I'm doing, I'm a success. So all of those posts we see out there from the coaches, from the mentors, which are really, not in that celebratory, wow, this is amazing. Like you feel that and you're like, cool, I'll celebrate you. But in that, it's like, imagine you're in a room and someone's speaking and they're just like, yeah, but look at me, look at what I'm doing it too. And again, it's that not self. Very preoccupied with recognition and validation. So what that can look like, they're always going back into their posts and checking for their likes, checking for their views, because their attachment is in the likes, in the views, in that recognition, in that validation. So these are some of the self-sabotaging patterns for somebody that is not aligned, that is unaligned with a defined throat. Or they, as in if you have that open throat, but you have received the wisdom in what that openness means, okay? G center, okay? So this is all about identity and direction. The not self, you are very fixated on love, on direction. You're always looking to answer the question, who am I? Where am I going? Like always, it's like an obsession with you. I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am. The potential that lives in this openness for you is to just let go of identity and to really allow life to guide you. Are you able to do that? Have you been able to do that? Or are you still in the need for the answer to that question, who am I? To attach yourself to an identity. Self-sabotaging patterns for you will be, you might have a tendency to talk about different things every day. Because what you're doing is, in that openness, remember, you are in the unaligned definedness, you are taking on the identity of others. So, oh, they talk about that, that was good, I'll talk about that too. They talk about that, that was good, I'll talk about that too. And that creates this like where it's not very clear on who you're talking to, because remember, we are looking for precision. We're looking for the point of attraction for your fractal family. So it is a specific somebody you are speaking to. You'll have a lot of products in your business that don't tie together. It's like, it feels very, what's the word I'm looking at? I kind of want to say like all over the place. There's no precision. There is no like identity, I guess. And even though the wisdom here is letting go of the identity, it is allowing life to guide you into your identity, if that makes sense. So you're not fixated on finding your identity. In place of that, you go out there, you live your life, you enjoy life, you really allow life to provide these answers for you. Another self-sabotaging pattern for this is always chasing and looking to others to find who you are. So you probably find if you have an open G center, or if somebody is not aligned in their defined G center, that they are going to spend a lot of time listening to other people, a lot of time really giving away their authority to others in telling them who they are. And in place of creating space to go out there and just live life, enjoy life, and allow that to provide the answers they seek, they're just giving it away to other people. The ego, which is the one that I said, the theme here is worth, which I mentioned before. The not self theme is that real deep feeling of unworthiness and undervalued. The potential wisdom here is that inherent worth. And I speak about this a lot from a very embodied place. It's been my journey, and it continues to be my journey. Time and time and time and time again, to the point where I'm like, oh. In fact, I'll tell you a little story. When my daughter was born, not first thing I did, but I shortly after she was born looked at her child, and first thing I wanted to know is if she had a defined ego or not, and she does. And I was like, yay, because it's been such a deep part of my journey. But to the point now, I have so much wisdom in this, and I'm going to give you the self-sabotaging patterns again, and think about everything I've been speaking about the last couple of days. Go to my social media, scroll around a bit, like listen to what the wisdom that I share. It's from a very deeply embodied place. So now I'm like, oh, okay, great. But, she's 6 now. So we're going back again when she was born, almost 7 years ago. And I was just like, I just never feel enough. It's crap. But now I stop resisting not feeling enough and seeing the lack in that. And I allowed myself to discover the wisdom in this portal that is open within me. Things like making promises you can't keep. I would so often say, yep, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do everything. And I didn't have the energy to keep. I didn't have the willpower to consistently keep those promises. Overgiving, huge one for me, huge one, really overgiving, but not from a place of like, oh, I have so much to give and this feels really good for me. So now there are times I give a lot, like in here, I give a lot. I did a Voxer thing the other week, I gave a lot, but it felt good for me. It felt aligned for me. I had the energy to invest. It was a definite yes for me. Before, the overgiving would be to prove my worth, because I didn't know I was enough. And so I had to give more and give more and give more to prove that, because there was the belief, what if I just gave a lot more to everyone, then that's going to make me feel enough. That's going to allow them to go, okay, this is worth it. But all that did was really depleted my energy and made me not enjoy what I was doing, what I was giving. Really connected to that over-functioning, that pushing, that forcing, and over-learning. Oh, that was a huge one for me. Learning, spending most of my time consuming as opposed to creating. We're not gonna grow, build, and scale a business if we are over-consuming. The only reason we over-consume, we over-learn, is because then it provides us that, okay, now I know enough, now I can do something. All right. Spleen, the selling theme for your spleen is intuition. This is your source. It's your intuition. It's that gut instinct. The not self here is holding on to things and people that are not good for us. The potential wisdom here is that intuitive awareness. Really that like, this is good for me. Yes. Okay. I keep it. This is good for me. No, I let it go. It's really instinctual. The self-sabotaging themes here are, we actually listen to the fears before they happen. So it's like, what will come up is that, like, what if, but in a fear context about the future, and you listen to that, and therefore you choose not to do based on a fear of something that's not even happened yet. My husband has an open spleen, and this plays out a lot within him. It's a space of potential wisdom for him, holding on to things and people that are not good for you. Because we know, like deep down, we instinctively know what is correct for us and what is not. And oftentimes we'll hold on to it because of fear. And we might choose to not take action because of fear. And that's when we're in a place, specifically in our business, where we're just kind of stuck. We're not doing anything because of fear. And you avoid your intuition and allow your logical mind to be your guiding force. Yeah. Like, and then we have our sacral. So our sacral is the source of the fuel for our life force energy. And the not self here is not knowing when enough is enough. You just don't know when enough is enough. And you continue to overgive. You continue to do to the point where you deplete your life force energy. The potential wisdom in here is learning how to use your energy the best. This is why projectors, because projectors will not have a defined sacral, are the advisors. They have the potential, okay, of the wisdom in this open or undefined center to learn how to use energy the best and can then advise others. Generators and manifesting generators who have a defined sacral. This is how you can use your energy the best. This is how you know when enough is enough. So we can change the way that we're being and be more supportive in our energy. There's non-serving patterns. Yep, not knowing when enough is enough. Over-giving. Always saying yes. A bit of FOMO here. Yes, I'll say yes to everything, even if it's not correct for our energy. And a huge attachment to doing. So as a generator, and for our manifesting generators as well, there was a lot of, when we were younger, and our parents, our caretakers would have said to us, like, can you do this? I'll give you an example. Go make your bed. Now, as a child, does that bring you joy? Does that light you up? Not really. And then the child's like, no, I don't want to. And they're like, well, you have to. So we learn to adapt what feels correct for us and say yes to please others, because that provides a reward for us. And so it's really changing that behavior and really feeling strong in our no. That does not light me up. I don't need to please others. It's a no. I'm sorry. It's no. And really just committing to choosing what we're going to invest our energy in because it lights us up. Okay. We've got 2 more to go and then we're going to wrap it up. Okay. So our solar plexus, the theme here is emotional intelligence. The source of your emotions, okay? The not self here is going to be the avoiding confrontation and truth. The potential wisdom here is to feel the full emotional spectrum without attachment. A feeling is just a feeling. It's the meaning we attach to it that creates the identity we associate with it. You only need to fully feel a feeling for 90 seconds for it to alchemize. The problem that most humans have is when we start to feel, we go into our mind and we attach meaning to the feeling. We look for evidence. I feel sad. Why do I feel sad? Let me look for evidence why I feel sad. Let me attach a meaning, a story to this feeling, as opposed to just feeling the feeling and being completely out of our mind and completely in our body. That's the wisdom here. And what the self-sabotaging patterns here is when there's non-direct communication. So we have a tendency to really fluff out what we want to say because, yeah, like we're avoiding that confrontation. We're avoiding any conflict. So we're trying to cushion what the truth is. You might smile a lot. I'm okay. I'm okay. How are you? I'm okay. I'm okay. Of course you're not okay. I can see behind that. I can feel the energetics in that. A real avoidance of true intimacy and expansive networks. Again, we're just kind of keeping ourselves to ourselves. We're not allowing people to really deeply become intimate with us because we're not feeling safe in the full expression of emotions, both high and low. And we really avoid those uncomfortable conversations. We avoid that conflict. But if you have an open or undefined solar plexus, you've got wisdom in here that you can support those of us. I'm defined in this. Okay. And if I'm not in alignment with the definition, with the strength I have here, you get to sell to me. You get to support me and move me back into alignment. Okay. The last one, I'm sorry, I do apologize. This has gone on for even longer than you said. I was like, yep, it's going to be an hour. And then I get carried away. Anyway, the last one here is the root. The selling theme here is freedom. We all want to feel free, right? This is our source of stress and physical pressure. Again, I'm undefined in my root. So I know this one very well. And this is one that I'm really starting to play in selling through this center. So start to watch my marketing and content like it's in the future, because I'm starting to really play with this one because I'm feeling very embodied in this one. And it's the potential wisdom to live life on your terms and to accept that there is always pressure. There is always stress, but we're not dictated by it. It doesn't force us to move. And again, this really has been one that has shifted for me in the last few months, because before it would just be like, oh, I would kind of collapse under the pressure, under the stress, and almost like resist it. But now I'm like, okay, it's cool. It's there. I'm not going to move because it's there. I'm going to move when it feels correct for me. And this year, especially in 2023, really designing and creating and building and scaling my business on my terms, not because I feel pressure, not because I feel stress. The self-sabotaging themes here is to act from the pressure. I just need to do something, anything. And it's like, imagine there's pressure here, the pressure, you feel it. And instead of just going, okay, like it's okay, I can feel the pressure, like that's okay. I don't have to do anything to not feel this. It's there. Instead, what we try and do is like, we're trying to run away from it. We're trying to do something, anything to avoid feeling it. And so we end up doing anything, but the pressure is still there. Okay. Procrastination is a huge one here. And that was a huge self-sabotaging pattern for me for a long time. And to always feel this pressure of lack of time, another huge one for me. And this need to do something with my life. I've got to do something with my life. There's not enough time. There's not enough time. And, there is finite time when we're looking at us as a human being. But when we're looking at everything from a soul perspective, from that bigger picture, it's infinite. There is no lack from that context. And the last one I want to say, and I've kind of saved this, and it's connected with the root. And so this is a huge one that I've played with. And so again, from an embodied place, I'm going to start selling through this center. Okay. And this is always this focus on doing and achieving. There has to be some form of achievement. And this creates a very codependent relationship. And that can be with your business. My business has to achieve something. My business has to do something in order for me to feel free. Remember, the theme here is freedom. If I'm not doing and achieving through the doing, therefore I am not free, which is not the truth. And this connects to your dopamine hit. Okay. So we are used to being in the non-serving pattern of that dopamine hit, that feel-good surge of dopamine, okay, through achievement, through success. So what this can look like in the self-sabotaging patterns is we create something bad. You know, we have, I don't really want to say bad, but it's like, yeah, like we create the low. We manifest, we attract the low in order for us to then achieve, so we can get the dopamine hit and then feel happy. So what it's about is choosing pleasurable activities in your day-to-day life just because. So you get the dopamine hit through how you choose to live your day-to-day life, and you break that pattern of, okay, because in order to achieve something, we have to have like an issue, we have to have a problem, we have to have, again, something bad. And we get stuck in that loop, we get stuck in that circle because we literally activate the dopamine hit. We have that feel-good energy, and then we're like, yes, look, I wasn't able to pay my rent this month. Oh my God, this is bad. But then I achieved it. I was able to just scrape by and pay my rent. And that gave me a feel-good hit. And I enjoyed that feel-good hit. It felt pleasurable to me. So I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to have the same cycle next month of lack, of not enoughness, of creating something bad, so I can then achieve something. So we want to really, it's not about not achieving in business, but it's about, we don't have to create that feel good feeling through the achievements. We can celebrate them, we can love them, we can, you know, share the head out of them, but it's not, we're not dependent on them to feel good. Does that make sense? That's the key. We are not dependent on our achievements and our doing to feel good, because our day-to-day life is full of pleasurable activities that create this feeling for us. So if we're not dependent on it, that is actually what creates freedom. Okay. And, you know, there's a lot more within that. Like, as with all of this, there is a lot more. But as I said, I'll put those, like the themes and the patterns, the self-sabotaging patterns, in a post that you can copy and paste. But contemplate that. This is what I would do. So I'm going to suggest something for you now, and then I am going to give you a little bit of homework, because I feel like this is going to really support you. So look at your open, undefined centers, those that are white. Look at where you feel you have overcome those self-sabotaging patterns that I've given. Look at where you feel you have accessed the potential wisdom, and you are not in the not self anymore. Because this is the wisdom that you're going to be able to sell through. This is like the transformation of your program, of your next course, and your strengths and your gifts and your talents are what you leverage in that. And we're going to talk about those on Thursday. So you're going to want to like put these ones together, because tomorrow I want to dive a bit into the money piece. Start to look at it from that picture. Like, again, you first, your embodiment, your wisdom, that's what I'm going to sell. Now, the homework that I'm going to give to you, we're going to use the root as the example. So the root, the selling theme here is freedom. So potentially, I want you in the information that I've given you, that it's the source of stress and physical pressure. Always in a hurry to be free of pressure. Do. The problem is that unhealthy hurry. Always in a hurry. Never pausing to relax. That's a problem, because if we never create space to relax, we're not able to reconnect back to us. We don't create that pause where we can deeply breathe and connect back to our true self and anchor ourselves in and have space for contemplation, for reflection. That's a problem. The solution is how to relieve that pressure. So that is a potential selling point for you. If you have an open, undefined route, and you want to attract those that have a defined route but are not in alignment, okay, and you feel embodied in this center, your setting theme is freedom. I am going to free you. I am going to relieve you from this pressure that you feel and this unhealthy hurry, this burden, this like pushing, forcing energy to constantly do that you feel. If someone is not in alignment, they're like, oh my God, yes, I want that. And then you can sell through that. So what I would love for you to do for each center, and this is something that you can go away, you can do on your own. If you want to share in the group, you can do so, but you don't have to. I want you to contemplate this specifically for your open, undefined centers. Remind yourself what the setting theme is. Look at like what I've spoken about, the not self theme, the potential wisdom, self-sabotaging patterns. What is a potential problem there? And what is a potential solution that you can sell from an embodied place? If you feel embodied and you're like, yeah, I can sell this, my suggestion is your next course, your next program, your next transformation to be in alignment with that. Okay. And then through all the information I've given, it's going to help provide like some of the language that you might want to use in your marketing, in your selling, and ensure that it's in the frequency of your brand line that I gave to you yesterday. Okay. So again, for the root, procrastination, you might want to drop that into your marketing. The pressure of the lack of time. Do you always feel a lack of time? Do you always feel this pressure that you need to do something? Bring in that type of language when you're selling through this center. Those that are not aligned, because remember, when I say not aligned, it's like you're going to activate their soul. Their soul is going to go, oh, yes, you need this. Yeah, like step in, listen to this person. So my suggestion, your homework would be to go to your open, undefined centers, remind yourself what the theme is, try and highlight what a potential problem is, and try and highlight what a potential solution is, and then question within yourself if you feel embodied in that solution and you feel that you are embodied and it is in integrity for you to sell this. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's what I have today. I am going to go and check the comments. So before anyone goes, I will check the comments. And if there's any questions that I'm able to quickly answer, I will do so. If you have stayed here for the entirety of this live, I thank you dearly, because it's almost 2 hours now, but I do thank you dearly. Like, this is important information and it's really going to support you in just shifting in how you've been doing business so far and really get you to create in a way that is very in alignment for you. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at offers that are unique for you to create, again, in accordance with your human design and your relationship with money, your unique relationship with money. We all have one. There's 6 different relationships. I'm going to tell you where to look for that in your charts. Okay, so we're bringing in, it is human design, but we're going to bring in Gene Keys elements with this one as well. And what that means, so you can start to shift your purpose of money, how you're viewing money, your relationship with money, the purpose that you're using money for. So it's going to feel very in alignment for you, which is going to open you up to receiving more, which is kind of what this is all about. Because the truth is, when we are open to receiving more money, more resources in whatever capacity that looks like, we then open ourselves for more support to be in the truest version of ourselves. We open ourselves for that provision that is required to make the changes in the world. It just is, like, it is what it is. And so, yeah, like, I'm certainly here for that. Right, I'm just going to see. Right, I'm just going through super quick. I can't see any specific questions now, but if there are any, please post them in the comments. If any come through afterwards, you are very welcome to open a new thread in the group and pop that, pop the question in there, and then I can go back and forth. For some of you that have your playbook, you'll see, you'll see, for example, with Anne, I've been able to kind of give her specifics in accordance with her charts because she's had her playbook created. So I have her charts. If you don't have a playbook, and again, you would like one, then I'm going to be selling at the end of this anyway. But if you do want one, just reach out to me and I can give you information on those. But if you do have specific questions and you want me to look at your chart, you can just message me your chart. So you can actually email me, would be best. Email me your human design and Gene Keys chart, and then I can use that, or you can pop it in the group. Yeah, just share your chart in there. Yeah, so that's okay as well. I think that's it. I think that's enough for today. That's the other thing. Like, I have, we have motivation within our design. Mine is need. So a question I always ask myself is like, do they need this? Do they need this? Which helps me move into that space of like, that's enough, and not overgive, and not, overgive, overdo, from that space of like not enoughness, and just I deliver what I feel is good, and then it's complete. And I know this has gone on for nearly 2 hours, and I could probably talk for another 2 hours on all of this. But do you need any more? No. Was this enough? Absolutely. Okay. So thank you very much again for those that were here live. If you're catching replay, let me know, #replay, because you have to, in order to win the prize that I'm going to announce early next week, you have to have watched all of the lives. And that means I need to know you're there. So if you were here live, let me know you're here live. If you're catching the replay, let me know you're catching the replay. Make sure you've done your welcome post as well. That's part of it to be considered to win the prize. And questions, comments, just interactions, engagement, and all the rest of it. Right, that's it for today. I'm going to go have a cup of tea. I'll say enjoy the sunshine, but there's not much around at the moment. That's it, my lovelies. I will stop the share. All right, my lovelies. I will see you all tomorrow at the same time. Ciao, ciao.